Good morning everybody. Today we will be dealing with a short recap on reproduction in organisms. Okay, so basically if you see the two methods of reproduction followed in all living organisms is one is the asexual one and the second one is sexual one. So asexual reproduction includes single parenting, that means only one parent is involved, and sexual reproduction, here it is two parenting, that means we have double individuals involved in this. Okay, now here during the asexual phase, here we don't have any genetic variation, that means in asexual reproduction only the genetic content is repetitively found in the offspring. There is no change in the genetic material, and whereas in asexual variety, here the genetic material gets exchanged and we have got a new variety. So nature facilitates the sexual reproduction, as you know it gets a variety in the genetic material, and these individuals produced during sexual reproduction or DNA variations are there, they are better suited to this earth. So sexual reproduction is generally common and common practice in higher organisms. Okay, lower organisms they prefer the asexual since the cellular complexity that is required for sexual reproduction is absent. Okay, so some organisms, that is they are lower in the animal kingdom, for example unicellular animals, bacteria, protozoas, algae, they all perform asexual reproduction. Now here you see we have four basic categories. Number one is fission. Fission means division. Okay, fission, it may be the two, double. So we have the binary fission, or multiple fission means divided into many. So if it divides, the mother cell divides into two daughters, we have a binary fission. A common example is amoeba and paramecium. And in multiple fission, where again we find it in amoeba, what happens here? They have got an encysting core. What is encysting thing? A cover. The nucleus, the cell membrane becomes hardened and gets encysted, and they burst out. Okay, the nucleus divides first into multiple fission. Fission means breaking up, and when the favorable time comes, it swells up and bursts and releases multiple individuals into the environment. So this multiple fission is generally to tide over adverse condition. Okay. Then fragmentation. What is fragmentation? Breaking up. If an organism breaks out either in the horizontal plane, for example you have the planaria. See here, this is the diagram of a planaria. If it gets cut here, it can reproduce into a new individual, or some organisms if they cut out in this plane. So this one will regenerate the other part and this portion will regenerate the other part. So that is why the fragmentation may be in the horizontal or the vertical plane. And even this fragmentation also is in some cases applicable to plants also. If they cut, you get it. I will come to it later. Now sporulation is spore formation. Again this spore formation is quite similar to the multiple fission, where the nucleus divides. We call it as karyokinesis. The nucleus divides and it forms thousands of individuals, and it is in the form of a powder, very fine powder-like structure. And during the adverse condition, when the condition is not favorable, that means food, water and climatic condition is not suitable, because that time they stay in the dormant condition, and then again when the condition is over, they divide. So that is known as sporulation, spore formation. Many organisms, lower organisms, even amoeba and all, they tide over this and they form sporulation. Then next you see vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is a very advanced technology followed only in the plants. We don't have vegetative propagation in animals. Where animals we have, we call it as regeneration. That is regeneration, and that comes under fragmentation. So here you see vegetative propagation, we have layering, budding, bulbil and all, this or cactus, the bulb falls down and a new individual grows. Cutting, you know, it's a very common example where in rose plants and all, if you cut the stem and put it in some plant hormone like auxin and all, and if you plant it, you get a new one. Even we practice it for mangoes, enhancing the quality of the mango, the variety of the mango. Then here you see grafting. Grafting is also, you cut a part of the plant and you insert it into the main branch of a plant. Okay, so here we have it, even in mangoes and all, you know, we have the grafting variety that enhances the quality of the fruit or generally fruits, okay, and flowers also. Rose, bicolored roses and all, it is done through grafting. Okay, now if we come to the sexual reproduction, see, we have two processes. One is syngamy. What is syngamy? When two similar types of gamete fuse together, we call it a syngamy. And another one is syngamy, that means fusion, isogamy and anisogamy. Okay, isogamy. Isogamy is fusion of similar type or size wise. And anisogamy is we have two different sizes. For example, one is of a bigger size and another one is of a smaller size. Okay, so common is anisogamy, what we generally found in plants and animals, and up to this is it is in your syllabus. Beyond that, we'll do it later, or you will do it later in your higher classes. Okay, now if we come to flower, what is flower? If we define flower, it is nothing but a reproductive shoot. What is reproductive shoot? That means the shoot that is responsible for reproduction. Okay, so the and if we dissect out the part of the flower from outside to inner, first and foremost we will have calyx. First particular whole, WHORL whole. Why whole? Because they are arranged in circles, in circlets. Okay, so this first whole is calyx. The second one is the corolla. Then the third one, corolla means the petals. Calyx are the green part of the flower. You may call it as sepals also. So this gives protection to the bud. Okay. Now corolla is the petal part, and these petals are brightly colored and they are generally functions as a pollinating agent. These two are known as accessory whole, which do not take part directly in reproduction. Then second we have the androecium and the gynoecium. Androecium is considered to be as the male reproductive unit and gynoecium is considered to be the female reproductive unit. I am using the symbol. This is for the male and this is for the female. And the androecium they have got a stamen, that means a tube, an anther and filament. That is, stamen consists of an anther and a filament. Filament is a tube and anther to it. An anther, similarly, this type of a structure they have got. An anther basically is responsible for pollen grain germination. Okay, the pollens are there, not germination, pollen dispersal. So they have the anther produces pollen. That is the male unit. And then the gynoecium, we have a stigma, style and ovary, and together they may known as called as a carpel. Carpel means female reproductive unit, and it consists of stigma, style and ovary. Stigma forms the receptacle of the pollen, style forms a connection between the ovary and the stigma, and when the ovary gets fertilized, the ovule inside it gets fertilized, so they form the seed, and seed give rise to a new plant. So that is why a flower is known as a reproductive shoot. And if we consider here in animals, you see this is again the symbol of the male, female. This is the male. Female produces ova, male produces sperm. So they fuse together to form a zygote. So the process by which the male and the female gametes, sperm and